COVID-19 has laid bare some stark inequities in education. All this week, with a team of journalists from across the country, we're exploring help for students and families who have been set back the most by the pandemic. Ann Maxwell takes a look at the effort to expand internet access for e-learning across South Carolina.
As education went from the classroom to the kitchen table, a big problem was uncovered. More than 100,000 students across South Carolina didn't have internet access at home. This Travelers Rest family was among them.
I had Wi-Fi. We just had it, but we had financial problems, so we, didn't have it for a while. And I told them that, and that's when they gave me this.
She picked up this Verizon Wi-Fi hotspot at her son's school.
Service is good. Sometimes it's kind of slow a little bit, but yeah, I can get used to that.
The Wi-Fi's journey here began in Washington, D.C. with the Federal Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, also known as the CARES Act. More than $1 billion in federal funding flowed to South Carolina. State lawmakers decided about $50 million would go toward a plan to distribute mobile hotspots and expand broadband internet access so students from kindergarten to college could learn remotely. The Office of Regulatory Staff is in charge of implementing the project. Tom Allen is its Director of Safety, Transportation, and Telecommunications.
So there's two issues with internet in South Carolina. Number one is the adoption piece. That means people who've got access to it, but maybe can't quite afford it. And then we've got the accessibility issue.
Of that $50 million, nearly $30 million is going toward accessibility, expanding the wired infrastructure for broadband to homes it didn't reach previously. $20 million went toward getting these hotspots. To qualify to receive one, families with kids in school must 1, not have internet access at home, and 2, be at or below 250% of the poverty level.
A family of 4 would qualify if they made around $65,000 or less.
This map shows where internet access is lacking in Greenville County. The district, which is the largest in the state, has ordered more than 2,700 hotspots. Dorchester District 2 in the Low Country received the most, more than 7,600. A Pew Research study from 2018 found nearly 1 in 5 teens sometimes can't finish their homework because of this digital divide at home. Experts say while this CARES Act funding helps, it's just a temporary solution to a much bigger problem that existed before the pandemic. According to Allen, estimates put the number of households without access to broadband in South Carolina at 180,000, but he says it may be much higher.
There have been some estimates that it could cost as much as $800 million to fully expand broadband services throughout the state.
These 400 hotspots sitting in an office in Greenville County Schools Technology Building are extras, but the district says 5 weeks into the school year, they're still getting new requests.
It could be that the circumstances changed on them, or they moved, and they don't have good internet access at the new place. There's a lot of reasons that it happens, but we're still processing hotspot orders.
He says overall, the hotspots are working well, with just about all of the county's 77,000 students logging on to learn.
And it's been very effective.
Maria Martinez says they've since been able to get internet access back in their home, but for a while, it literally kept her son in school.
I didn't have Wi-Fi, and they knew about it. They didn't want him to be absent all the time, or because they do that, like if you're not online, you're absent.
In Greenville, I'm Ann Maxwell.
The South Carolina Superintendent of Education's office says the hotspots are a short-term solution. They support the funding of permanent, affordable broadband access for all students. Tonight at KXAN News at 10, see how another state is working to expand the service to reach students who need it most. Online now, Pandemic Pass or Fail, Solutions for Education Equity, the Digital Investigative Project. Check out our latest work, interactive data features, and a behind-the-scenes video about why we're tackling this topic. Explore stories from our team of journalists across the nation, by location or by topic, plus resources about the solutions we're discovering and ways you can join the conversation. It's all online now. Just search for Pandemic Pass or Fail on our homepage.